Good morning, everyone. Magandang umaga po sa lahat sa atin. First, I'd like to thank Blueprint.ph, especially Mr. Iro Brillantes, for inviting me to this very interesting and very timely forum. I was listening intently to Dr. Altea de Guzman. Let me greet my co-panelists for today. But really, it's a very nice start and takeoff for the topics that we will be discussing today. Perhaps you're all wondering anong ginagawa ng Privacy Commissioner na nagsasalita tungkol sa data governance or a promise of a data governance framework for the country. Siguro magandang sabihin no, na dalawa po ang objective ng Data Privacy Act. No? Uh, Primarily, it's here to protect individual personal data and the rights of data subjects like all of you. But the twin objective is really to ensure there's free flow of information. So hindi rin kami nagtatagumpay kung hindi ho nagagamit ang personal data, na ma-maximize ang personal data for the benefit of the country. Which brings me again to my first point. As a regulator, we are inspired by a higher national, can you share a slide now, please? All right. I hope you can see my slide now. All right. That we are inspired by a higher national ambition. And lahat po sa atin sa pamahalaan, DOH, ito pa rin po no, ang ating gusto makamit. And we are here to lay the foundation for inclusive growth, a high trust and resilient society, globally competitive knowledge economy, at matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. Pero bibilugan ko lang dyan yung high trust and resilience. No? Because this has got to do now with what we are facing under COVID. And, this issue about data governance, the importance of data to government. But most importantly, we must recognize the importance of data provided by persons, no? by our citizens. So why is data governance important to data privacy? Because maganda yung pagtapos ni Dr. De Guzman, she spoke about privacy, because really these are behind the binary ones and zeros of data are actual people. The actual people that can face risks, threats, and harms kapag hindi ho nagagamit ng tama ang data. Siguro bilang panimula rin, gusto ko lang sabihin, hindi lang tayo ang nag-iisip ng digital data governance. At yan po ay tinutulak sa buong rehiyon po natin in the ASEAN. We just adopted the ASEAN Digital Data Governance Framework in January 2021. And when the digital ministers met virtually to adopt a digital data framework for the entire ASEAN, and really it's really as you can read here, aligning legal and regulatory requirements and regulations and framework, and fostering data-driven innovation, right? So with the introduction, you've heard about the Philippines' role now in the global COVID response, particularly to data protection and privacy. And we were elected to lead that working group. And the GPA is the governance body composed of 135 jurisdictions. So pinag-uusapan din namin paano ba lahat ng mga nasyon natin, mga jurisdiction responding to COVID-19 with the use of data and technology. And believe me, lahat po tayo nagsimula talaga parang reset, game resets for all jurisdiction, because this is such an unfamiliar pandemic and unfamiliar situations that we have to dig deep with all our resources, technology-based data, to be able to curb this. So we've heard it. So right now we've deployed, all countries practically deployed contact tracing applications. They are now deploying vaccination databases. So makakapareho po tayo. But one thing is certain po dito, technology and data will defeat COVID-19. This is something not present during the Spanish flu, right? So we are more confident that we can curb this pandemic because of technology and data, and that's what was presented by Dr. De Guzman earlier. But also this situation opened up, put focus on data governance, expose gaps, no? So, minimension din yan. Nakita na sa practical experience po natin sa bansa ngayon natin, when Dr. Altea talked about the decentralization, no? Yung devolution, how it is also hampering, or the data collection, use and sharing. Yan po yung mga kinakaharap po natin. Ano? Pero masasabi natin, ano ba ang daan patungo dito? At anong ginagawa ng bansa po natin? So very clearly, as mentioned earlier, no, good versus bad data and governance, poor quality data results in what? Bad decisions. So, and more than that, no, it results to poor citizen perception, right? But good quality will improve citizen satisfaction, and of course, lastly, trusted data makes it important. Is important so that the government can create more services that can be trusted. So, which brings me to, I was listening intently as kay Dr. De Guzman, but probably when you look at the situation, data governance, you have now departments, no? Huwag tanggalin yun yung department dyan. Diba? You have applications and data. When you say tanggalin, let's look at them as digital service. No, but they come up with applications in the database. It is necessary to generate all this data that is needed to combat COVID. But and you have multiple departments, no? As mentioned by with the DOH, they deal with a lot of LGUs also. But if you will look at this matrix, right, and all of our departments are requiring our citizens to sign on, probably if we have requirement for address search, no? But at the bottom, alam mo, very interesting kasi, and you look at lahat tayo dito, experience natin, every time we avail of a government service, we sign on. Each time, bro, each time, no, nakakalimutan na nga natin kung anong password siguro natin, or if we use the same password, siguro mo lahat yun pare-pare. But we sign on for every government, for every department, right? And we fill up forms after forms and after forms. No? So, yan ang user experience ng mga Pilipino, right? So, as we move down, so we reinvent the wheel over and over again, and inano ko lang sa DOH kasi totoo yun, even the database could be found in your desktop, you know, or to Excel sheets, right? Or even Dropboxes, no? Individual employees have those. So ganon, napaka-disparate. No? So users face different experiences across government. So I'm talking now really about, in all this, you know, we go to the main customer. Users provide the data, and they will only give you quality data. They will only give you accurate data if they trust you, that you will keep there will be trustworthiness, there will be reliability and accuracy, and most of all, security and privacy. So with this, we're all in agreement. Technology is changing society. And it's changing also how organizations are structured. If you look at the largest companies by market cap, may mga media dito in the business space. But really, if you look at the evolution of companies and organizations, I mean, all the companies right now are they've been replaced by technology and data companies. Nawala na yung mga dinosaurs like General Electric. So with that, again, I think I'm showing this now because these companies are now providing the real-time service, no, na gusto ng tao. They get 5-star rating, di ba? So everything now, downloadable apps, no, and we just rate them 5 stars, no. But it's worth showing because the people's expectations now for government is actually to approximate what the services of these companies are providing them, right? I think yun yung frustration sa government, di ba? Bakit nabibigay ito ng pribadong kumpanya pero hindi ito nabibigay ng gobyerno, right? So, anong kailangan gawin ng gobyerno? Gawin din yung ginagawa ng mga kumpanyang to, right? And really introduce technology and data to produce products and services to build a high trust, resilient, inclusive, and knowledge-based economy. And that's where we're headed, right? So why does governance matter? Because it will provide better services. Just like businesses are fighting for customers through better services, and they're digitizing to do that. The lower cost of governance, create more innovation, as I mentioned on DOH, want more platforms, more applications that will benefit the citizens. And not only that, to meet government objective, to provide more products, provide more services. And Dr. Ete was mentioning about how they can, the prospect is really boundless, no? How immunization, and they can predict epidemics. But if you will look at that, so dapat sana, ganito na lang itsura natin, di ba? Lahat ng gobyerno, single sign-on na lang. Hindi ka na maghahanap hindi ka na, pag nag-sign-on ka na minsan, yun na, no? In the UK, they have a login, .gov system doon. Isang beses lang, single sign-on. Right? Bibigay mo na doon. So, alam mo ng address, valid ID. Wala ka nang tatanungin kung anong the source of truth, kung sino ka, yung digital identity, the database, right? It's probably a common database. Why not, right? For a 110 million population, pag ganito siguro yung ating itsura ng infrastructure natin, diyan naman din yan ang maganda, pero diyan tayo patungo, right? So let me show you, meron na tayong PhilSys ID, the single source of truth, right? That alone, again, is a very useful, source of data to tell you kung ikaw ito, para pag nag-sign on ka, alam kung kilala ka, sino ka, hindi na ka natatanungin saan ka nakatira or hindi ka na i-verify dahil verified ka ng PhilSys ID at ginawa po ng pamahalaan po natin ito. Right? So ito na ngayon yung ating pinaka foundational base. Right? Next. So, it's the unique ID database to support itong lahat ng sinasabi natin, the applications and the services. Yung sa ibabaw niya would be the services. So, sana, even for very direct objectives like contact tracing, yan na lang talaga. You have COVID kaya, you have stay safe, right? Pero could be again, if you can already imagine yung sinasabi natin na once na lang talaga ang mga tao magsa-sign up para sa government, ang laki ng magagawa nito, but it takes again governance, and you have to break those silos in governance. So sana yan na lang to. That's the promise, that's the ambition, and we're moving towards that. The e-government platform of the DICT, I'll show it to you later. Pero this will now really ensure or promote the whole of government approach to problem solving for everything. Right? Kung ganito yung ating architecture. So technology will be hard. It will be more complex, no? Blueprint.ph, you're into emerging technologies, AI, big data, right? It will be more complex. But governance will also be harder if we do not catch up. If we do not have the proper approach and agility to adjust to technology. So like a very basic question, which services and data sets should be shared? The other levels of government, even the private sector. So Blueprint, I'm sure gusto natin mahawakan yung lahat ng mga data na yan para ma-analyze natin so that we can come up with more, we can provide citizens tools for better decisions. Hindi lang ng gobyerno, but citizens as well, right? Dito pumapasok na ngayon yung digitizing yung government initiative po natin, right? And I must, again, as a speaker today, speaking in my own capacity, as a privacy regulator na advocate, it's a responsive data advocate. So I call it the Philippine Responsive Data Initiative. We digitize all government to improve the quality, data quality, and how we undertake data analytics. So it is centered on citizens primarily. Just be centered on pangangailangan ng masang Pilipino. At dito, kailangan dito, user-centric, citizen-centric siya. Open digital government, real-time application. There's an app in the UK, they call it the UK.notify. All it does is actually give you an update. Kasi nakita nila na 1 in 4, I think 2 in 4, 3 in 4 calls to government agencies is about follow-up. So meron silang mobile and web application just for follow-up. Notify ka, nag-apply ka, kailan mo makukuha. So real-time application. So again, ito yung gusto nating, di ba? Ito yung ambition, di ba? Integrated services, tell us once approach. Sa beses lang, kailangan. So, doon ba tayo papunta? And the components, that will only be made possible to 3 things. Data governance, data management, and data analytics. Data governance is about establishing the decision rights on government digital data. Determine the holistic way to control our data assets. We've been working and we have succeeded in recent itong pinakamalaking na success natin to improve itong infrastructure po natin. Still long ways to go, but competition in the telco, for example, will create that more highways for data and data management. Again, you define it: processing, acquiring, validating, protect the timeliness of data for its users. But more important, ano bang difference ng dalawa? Data management is the logistics of data. Governance is a strategy of data. So Dr. Ate, ito yung gusto natin mangyari. Ano ba strategiya talaga natin sa data? Right? Yan ang masyadong, talagang pinigyan natin ng pansin, yung logistics, paano ito dadaloy, at nagtatagumpay na tayo dyan. Ngayon, kailangan nating harapin ano ba, what is the strategy for data? Because this will, again, very important. And the third component, data management, data governance, and data analytics, because pure data governance and management leads to failed data analytics project. Right? So here are the programs. The DICT's e-government master plan, and we look at this. It's yung sinasabi natin, sectoral applications. There will be agency-specific applications, right? But there's a very stable infrastructure below, and the roadmap will focus on safer, protected, reliable ICT, ICT-enabled governance, greater public reach, and ICT capacity development. This is what the DICT has been pursuing. Also, there have been proposals in Congress now for legislation. We need new legislation to address these 21st century concerns like government to e-governance in the digital age. Meaning, again, that's to answer, right? Ano ba how do we make decisions on what to do with data, right? And siguro just to cap my short talk to you this morning, right? Meron naman nakakagawa nito. So probably it may interest you to look at Estonia. You probably heard about it. It's a very small Baltic country, almost 2 million in population. But Estonia was so poor after the Soviet Union broke up in the late 80s and early 90s that Estonia had to borrow the telephone system of Finland, which is just a neighbor, but that was in the early 90s. They wanted to borrow that, but once the prime minister said that no, we will go on a digital transformation. That's what they did, and this is what they created. They call it the X road. There's the internet X road. It's the middleware. Public sector, kita mo yung diagram nila. And nasa baba, nandoon naman yung that infrastructure, right, na create. So and look at how all these government services are being interoperated, how they are being exchanged via this internet X-road. No? At papunta po tayo dyan, no? Dun sa e-governance master plan po ng DICT. So, in Estonia, you can register a company in 15 minutes. No? Customs clearance is all digital, right? Paying taxes, of course. And right now, they've fought and they've won. They're succeeding over COVID-19 using this platform. They were able to quickly shift to work from home education because of this platform. But again, no, this is a dream, right? But 99% of households in Estonia have broadband internet connections. And doon naman po tayo papunta. But very important again is that we view this holistically. So I think our challenge is blueprint is really the blueprint. All right, coming up with what I call 21st century public works. No, build. The fourth B is about infrastructure. It's about applications. No? It's about coming up with solutions and platforms. Government it's really government now shifting to another type of platform. Just to tell you, siguro just to describe it, no? Government is very good in public works. NLEX, SLEX connectors, lahat highways. No? These are platforms, right? These are platforms na kumo-connect lahat ng buhay natin. Coming to work, going to school, merchandise, ganun din. But government now is shifting to building 21st century public works. No? Internet highways, opening up data centers. Yan po ang natin. So, nag-shift din tayo. But more importantly, the data governance models build on ethical and risk-based framework. And we have the laws now in place. The Data Privacy Act, you have the Cybercrime Prevention Law, you have the DICT now in place. But lastly, most importantly, is the citizens' IE. Right? And this is where we can come in. Right? Privacy is it is not about secrecy. Right? Privacy is not about hiding a wrong. Right? It's about maximizing the use of data, maximizing the use of personal data while mitigating risks. Because all of this is again built on citizens' trust. Right? And we have proven that. No, pag hindi ka pinagtitiwalaan ng mamamayan, hindi yan magbibigay ng tamang informasyon sa iyo. And you need that information, right? Para makagawa ka ng mas makabagong serbisyo, matulungan sila. But you have to tell them, diba, na you are treating their data with security, confidentiality, accuracy, and with reliability. So with that, let me end my talk to all of you. Congratulations, Blueprint.ph. And to all of you present here. Magandang umaga po.
The digital age is here. The change has been exponential. That the way we receive news and information has drastically exceeded expectations. Data-driven analytics is not a fancy word anymore that gets thrown around to impress, but rather has become a byword for a fast-growing digital media that delivers timely, comprehensive, useful information, received by an audience whose stature in terms of understanding the world we live in is increasing leaps and bounds. We are now in a world highly integrated due to digital media, and now more than ever, socially evolved, connectivity, advocacy-driven demand, and engagement, and the data points that govern these metrics are within your grasp. Blueprint.ph is a communication research firm focusing on big data, thick data, artificial intelligence, and online sentiment analysis, is in the forefront of this amazing transition in our country as we introduce our new Philippine Data Newsroom.